Welcome to episode 65 of Uncaged Sports Talk. Here in this episode, we're just going to preview week 9 of the NFL as week 9 is finally here. As you saw in that video, Doug Peterson celebrating after the Super Bowl 52 victory. Only Super Bowl winning coach in Eagles history will return to South Philadelphia today. Doug Peterson is returning to South Philadelphia today. And what's a throwback game? It's literally a throwback game, basically. You got your old coach, your Super Bowl winning coach. You're wearing the Kelly green. It's gonna be a fun game. I'm very excited to see what happens, especially with the Eagles rolling right now. This is probably Doug Peterson's last ever time coming as an opposing coach. This is probably his last ever coaching year because he's likely going to be fired in Jacksonville after the season. But without further ado, because I don't think we really need to get much into the Eagles game. I will when I get into Luke's locks. I want to get into my NFL Week 9 power rankings. Starting off the list first, starting with the team trending down. This was these power rankings. These power rankings were before Thursday Night Football. I got the Jets at 24th. They moved down 7 spots. They will be moving back up. But they just hadn't looked good. Even this week, they didn't look good at all. The Jets have just been struggling, really. Aaron Rodgers looks like an old quarterback now. Garrett Wilson's catch this past Thursday was insane. But Aaron Rodgers just looks like an old, washed-up quarterback now. I think it's as simple as that. Coming in at 16, the Chargers. The Chargers have been winning football games. There's not much more to say about them. They've just been winning football games. Jim Harbaugh's been a good coach there for them. They've been better than I expected them to be to start the year. They move up 6 spots to 16. J.K. Dobbins has been good. He's been staying healthy. The passing game hasn't been great there in L.A., but that's not what Jim Harbaugh teams are built on. It's built on the run game and the defense. Coming in at 10 for this edition of Luke's list is the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings coming at 10 this week. The Vikings moved down 1 spot after their loss last week. They've lost 2 in a row now. They started out the year great. After they lost to the Rams, the Darrisaw loss hurts them. But they started off the year great. They're still playing solid ball. Like solid football. They're still playing solid football. They just lost 2 straight. And both games have been close against the Lions and the Vikings, or against the Lions and the Rams. Both games have been close. But they just came up short. I expect them to get it turned around this week against the Colts. Granted, you're going up against Joe Flacco, not Anthony Richardson. I think that line's a little wonky this week, 5.5. But you're going up against the Colts. Go beat the Colts. Go get back on the winning track this week. Vikings coming at 10. Commanders coming at 9. They had that miraculous Hail Mary. Tyreek Stevenson celebrating while the play is going on. Like, what? Get your head in the game, dude. But he still tipped the ball, but he tipped the ball and then Noah Brown caught it. That was insane. That's the player of the year. Garrett Wilson's challenging him for the player of the year already, only 4 days later, but that Hail Mary is going to be replayed for years. The Texans coming to 8. Texans lost this week. They're going to be dropping. They've been struggling without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell is not playing how he played last year. Their O-line just not blocking great for C.J. Stroud either. He's not getting good protection. Texans need to get it together quick. This is not a Super Bowl potential team the way they're playing right now. The Steelers come in at number 7 on Luke's list. The Steelers just playing good football, Mike Tomlin football. They don't finish under 500 in the Mike Tomlin era. Russell Wilson's looked good the last 2 weeks. They've just been playing good football. George Pickens has been good. The defense has been elite. TJ Watt's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Steelers coming in at 7 on Luke's list this week. Coming in at 6 on Luke's list. Actually, give me 1 second. Coming in at 6 on Luke's list is the Green Bay Packers. The Packers coming in at number 6 on Luke's list. They've been iffy. Jordan Love got banged up again. Their line against the Lions this week is weird, 2.5. At home at Lambeau against a division rival. Iffy line. Weird line for me. It was 3.5 earlier in the week. I was actually taking the Packers at the 3.5. But the 2.5 is just weird to me. But the Packers, they've come on the last few weeks. They've won a few in a row. Packers coming at 6. The Eagles, one of the hottest teams right now, starting to hit their stride. They move up to 5. They move up 4 spots to 5. Jalen Hurts with 16 for 20 in our last game. Saquon Barkley with that huge hit on the sideline. The deep bomb to Smitty. The defense is clicking. Quinyon Mitchell locking down receivers. Everything's rolling right now for the Eagles. In the Body Nick Sirianni era. We're 4-0 with A.J. Brown. I saw a stat this week. With A.J. Brown, we're averaging 29.7 points per game on offense. Our offense is legit with A.J. Brown back there. They're out there. The Eagles coming at 5. Coming in at number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills just keep winning. They keep winning consistently. Nothing blowing you away, like nothing spectacular. But they just keep winning. If they're going to keep winning, they're going to keep moving up this ranking. The Ravens dropped 1 spot. Only reason the Bills aren't higher is because the Ravens beat the Bills. They have the head-to-head advantage. Ravens had a typical Ravens stinker at this point in the season. I feel like every year they have one of those disappointing games that they drop to a team they shouldn't lose. They had way too many drops against the Browns on defense and on offense. They had the potential game-winning pick, Kyle Hamilton. Bateman dropped some balls. Aguilar dropped it. Aguilar dropping babies. The Ravens just had a bad game. I think they win this one against the Broncos, but that 9's weird as well. You'll actually see my thought on that line shortly. I got the Lions at 2. I was actually contemplating putting the Lions number 1. They're playing great football. They're playing like really good football. Hottest team in the league, I think. I don't think there's really any debate that they're the hottest team in the league right now. But like Jared Goff is playing out of his mind. But the Chiefs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Only reason they didn't move down, I actually decided on it when they made a trade. They traded for another pass rusher, Josh Uche. Gotta say Pass Uche. Josh Uche. I think that's how you say his name. Uche. Something like that, probably. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it if you're watching. I know you're probably not, but I'm sorry if I'm butchering it if this somehow gets to you. But the Chiefs coming at number 1. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are undefeated. They're number 1 until proven otherwise. Now, if the Lions win this week and the Chiefs have another stinker, barely win against the Bucks, I think we might have a new number 1 next week if that happens. Now, for Luke's locks, I had a few different ones, but the lines changed. Like I had the Packers plus 3.5 earlier in the week. Let me pull it up on my phone. I'll go through them. I was actually looking at Panthers +7 division game at home, and I'm getting 7 points potentially. I almost picked that. The games I had earlier in the week were the Rams +2.5. They're the Browns +2.5. Broncos +9.5. Eagles -7.5. Packers +3.5. Rams -1.5. But those games changed, so I cannot use those for Luke's locks. So for Luke's locks, I get the Browns at +1 at home dog against the Chargers. I don't think Chargers are anything special. Jameis Winston looked good and decent in the last game. He threw some balls that should have been intercepted, but they at least moved the ball. They took deep shots, unlike how they looked with Deshaun Watson. The Browns look solid with Jameis Winston back there. Same thing that happened with Joe Flacco last year. The Browns +1 against the Chargers at home. I'm taking the home dog. I like the Dolphins +6 this week against the Bills. Division matchup. Dolphins got a week under their belt with Tua. I think they'll be clicking this week. Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes over 100 yards this week and has a touchdown. So I'll take the Dolphins at +6. I like the Broncos at +9 against the Ravens. The Ravens are going to win the game. Like, if they lose a game, I'm hitting the panic button. If they lose the game. But Broncos +9. I think it's just the wonky line there, but I like the 9 points with the Ravens. I think the Ravens give up some points. Like, the defense has been suspect for the Ravens this year. The Bears +1.5. I like the Bears +1.5 against the Cardinals. They struggled on offense last week, but I think they get the offense corrected this week. Caleb Williams has a good week this week against Kyler Murray. Caleb versus Kyler. Both Cliff Kingsbury disciples. Both. I don't know. Actually, I think they are. Both Cliff Kingsbury disciples. Both Lincoln Riley disciples. I think Caleb Williams gets the win here. +1.5. It's almost a pick 'em. And then Eagles -7.5 today against the Jaguars. I like that Eagles line against the Jaguars. Jaguars have played a few close games the last 2 weeks, but the Eagles are rolling. I think this is going to be like a 30-13 Eagles victory today. Jaguars' number one receiver today is Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas is out. Christian Kirk is out for the year. Gabe Davis isn't beating the Eagles today. Give me 1 second before we get in to my NFL Week 9 preview as I go through all the other games on the slate for Week 9. So, for my Week 9 slate, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13. Garrett Wilson had that miraculous catch, spectacular catch. I was about to say spiraculous. That's a new word that I must start saying. Spiraculous catch. Devontae Adams finally had a good game. Tank Dell, 6 receptions for 126. Joe Mixon, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. CJ Stroud was 11-30. Under pressure a lot in the game. He rushed for 59 yards. They just need that line to block, and they need Nico Collins back ASAP. On the Jets side of things, Aaron Rodgers had his best game of the year, 22-32, 211, 3 touchdowns. Breece Hall, 74 yards. Devontae Adams, 91 yards and a touchdown. Excuse me for the burps. Garrett Wilson, 9 yards for 90. 9 receptions for 90 yards. 2 touchdowns. Really good day for the Jets' top 2 receivers. Now for the other games, you got the Saints-Panthers. At the line, it is +7. I actually like the Panthers as a home dog. Give me the Panthers +7 against the Saints. I think the Panthers lose a game, but the Panthers cover there. With Derek Carr coming back, I think the Saints win it. Commanders, Giants. Line's -4 there. I think the Commanders win this game. I think the Commanders come out and have a solid game. But it is a division matchup. You could take a division dog +4. It's a wonky line against some wonky lines this week. But that should be a good game there. I think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders get it done. Bills against the Dolphins. I think the Bills get it done against the Dolphins this week, but I think Tua is going to be clicking this week. I think Tua and the Dolphins are going to be clicking with a week under their belt. They're going to be clicking this week with an extra week under their belt. The Chargers against the Browns, I already went over that game as well. The Patriots, Titans, that game's +3.5 for the Patriots. Iffy line. Titans, I think, are the better team, but if I'm getting, I'll take the 3.5. I'll take that 3. That 3 is important in betting. If I'm betting on it, I'll take the Patriots there, I guess. Cowboys, Falcons, it's the same thing. It's a 3-point line. Cowboys aren't playing good. Falcons are playing solid this year. I'll actually take the Falcons in that one. Zeke Elliott out due to disciplinary reasons. Watch for Dalvin Cook potentially. But Zeke Elliott out in this one due to the disciplinary reasons. Probably missed some practices or like the meetings. I like the Bengals against the Raiders this week. I mean, who wouldn't like the Bengals against the Raiders this week? The Rams I like against the Seahawks, even with Puka Nacua banged up. I think the Rams still win that one against the Seahawks. Packers Lions, gonna be a weird one. Gonna be a very weird one. It's supposed to be rain throughout the game. I think the Packers get this one. I actually think the Packers get this one. Division matchup at home. Give me the Packers. Colts Vikings on Sunday Night Football. The game that replaced Eagles Jaguars. It was supposed to be Eagles Jaguars Sunday Night Football tonight. Give me the Vikings. Vikings in the Battle of the North. Beat the Colts. I think it's going to be closer than people expected. If I'm taking the points, I'm taking the Colts with the points. +5.5. The Chiefs Bucks. I would actually take the Bucks with the points, but I think the Chiefs win. The line's -9. Every game for the Chiefs this year has been close. But give me the Chiefs to win another like 1-score game or whatever. That'll do it for this episode of Uncaged Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our platforms. It is greatly appreciated. Tune in next week for episode 66 of Uncaged Sports Talk.